Hello, everyone. I am Alenville, and welcome to my new series, which is Casting My Climb. It's a series where I go over matches I played myself. For now, it's going to be replay. I have another option in there as well, but for now, we're going to go over the replays, and I will commentate over it in a shoutcasting style. For example, as esports does it. So right now we're going to start with League of Legends. Doing it with League of Legends, we will add later on some other games to it as well. But for now, we're going to be on League of Legends. I could have started on the 7th when actually the new season begins, but I thought, you know what, let's just start off. We're about 2 days into the new year, so let's get the ball rolling. And that's kind of how I actually decided to start this one. So to start the whole thing off, we're in Bronze 1, 13 LP. I know it's very, very low, but as I said, it's for me a challenge to improve myself by watching the games once again, because I tend to not do that, even though it is very wise to do. And of course, as well, work on my own shoutcasting skills as well. So it's a double whammy, and I thought before I just put that down and sit in a corner, why not just post them? Could help anyway. So let's get into the first game and the only game of today for episode 1. So let's go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the match. So we're here right now. So on the top side, we got Zahen versus Kale. Since our team is the red team because I'm playing the Jinx. On the opposing side of us, on the jungle is Nocturne, we get the Diana. Zed is their mid laner while we got a Zoe. I myself am the Jinx, and my support is the Lux versus a Misfortune Demo bot lane. So let's get into the action. That seems like a weird bug right now. I don't think that's normal. That's a bug. That's a weird bug that it's showing here, but cool. So yeah, here's one of the secrets already. If you can look at the situation, Zahen moved till here. And we're about 30 seconds already in. He's not moved very far. Meanwhile, we have Lux moving into the middle brush on the bot line. It's a bit of a risky play. Gets a good E off there, but has to be careful because Demo is coming around the top side. Comes in, walks in there. Gets some pressure on top of that. They're pushing in. I have to come in there, flash from the Lux here. Shoot a few rockets out of there. Take quite a bit of damage there, and this will be relevant later as well. You can look at that. You can see the Zoe pinging. Retreat, missing, blah, blah, blah. Which becomes very funny later on. Keep that in mind. Because since I've played this match, I know what happens, but I just want to point these little things out. And we're at about 10:25. Zahen has moved a few steps. We gotta be proud about that one. He was here. Now he's here. He's moved a bit. Not very much, but he moved a bit. So Zed has already a slight lead, which is understandable. The team has noticed that the Zahen is doing something weird. Timo walks up, hits me with a good blind there. I can't really do much about that. And honestly, this is the thing that I know a lot of people think that Timo support is troll, which, gotta be honest, pretty much yeah. But if you got a good Timo player who knows how to play this out, he can do pretty well with this. And of course you could put it on my low placement, but we just saw Zoe use the Ignite already. Interesting point here. Good binding there from the Lux, a good hit there as well. I made the misplay there in between. You would wonder why they're chompers. I misleveled there. I would have liked to have my W, the Zap Zap, but unfortunately, my Zap, I think Zap Zap is the name, if I remember correctly. Zap. It's only Zap. Okay. It's only Zap, but I would have liked to have the zap there, but I don't have it there, so gotta play with what I have, to be honest, right now. Zed goes in on the Zoe. Zoe takes quite a bit of damage there, and she's about a bit lower than half HP. Zoe has to be very careful now about the situation. Oh, Zahen moved forward. Zahen made it to the tower. But yeah, Zahen, I don't know what's going on with Zahen. Zahen is not part of this game in any way, shape, or form. He's sitting at the tower and nothing's going on really with him. He's just sitting there, not doing anything. So he misses that one. Zed goes in there, procs the electrocute, so he barely survives that one. I think Zed is just not confident. Oh, there's a disconnect. Okay. So Q from Zoe into the wave. Not really much damage on Zed. Zed, I think, is kind of measuring how he wants to do this right now. Quite aggressive there, but Zed goes in onto the Zoe and dies there as well. Gets slept under the tower shot, and the Diana jump finishes that one off. But unfortunately, first blood goes over to the Zed, since we're slightly biased, gotta be honest about that one. But yeah, Zed picks up the first kill. Diana gets the answer, and now we got the Nocturne there, goes on top. Oh, spell shield, the fear comes after Diana's not in a good spot right now anymore. Has to try to find a way out. This one smite onto that one, flash away. Still looking for something. Diana tries to survive that one. Drowsy hits, but too late, and Zed jumps in there, picks up a kill. 2 kills for the Zed, 1 death. He's right now on every kill of this. In every kill of this game. He's got the 2 kills for his team. He's got the 1 death for his team. Bit rough, to be honest. But we gotta see how this one develops further with this. It goes in, puts quite a bit of damage onto the Zoe. Zoe looks for something, gets a bit of pressure on there. Not much about that one. And Kale is taking advantage of the whole situation. Let's be honest about that. Kale is doing well with keep taking advantage of that situation, getting the farm up there. Should probably have a bit more, gotta be honest about that one. Slight tip more would be nice, but not really much you can really do about that one. Us in the bot lane, just farming up. Got a slight lead on the Misfortune, not really much though. Zoe once again have had HP, death mark from the Zed, gets the kill. Takes a tower shot, sleeps under the wave, but doesn't really matter. Got 3 kills on the board for the Zeddy boy. Not where you want to be if you're on the red team. Zed is the one right now really pushing everything he can. Teemo is holding up as much as he can, but with the Misfortune, but the thing is right now, Kale has free roam, took 2 plates already off there. I think Kale is still herself not too sure. But as I said, in lower elo could be as well a bit of a worry about the situation, not reading the situation completely right. Drowsy onto the Zed, and a bit of damage, but not enough to finish him off. Oh, Diana trying to get on top of the Misfortune. Not really much about that one. The thing is, what Misfortune has to take care of now, she's solo. She's playing the lane solo because Teemo wandered up top. He's trying to get some farm in here right now. And with that happening, we're going to do this. So we have every side put up correctly. That trouble bubble doesn't hit, and Zed just walks away, recalls, takes advantage of that. Good for us, because we get the chance to really claim off that Drake. Meaning Drake number 1 wanders over into our hands. Nocturne's on the other side of the map. And Zed had to recall because, well, he wanted to spend some of his cash he already has from those 3 kills. Makes a lot of sense when you look at the situation. I would say I recalled probably a bit too late because I should only have the BF sword and not much else, but I'm a bit greedy with these situations and that could cost me a lot. And I think at this timing I should not be at 49 CS, but closer. Oh, Zahen came back. Will Zahen play now? That's the next question we have. I don't know if it was an internet connection issue thing, or if he just, I don't know, didn't want to really play. Trouble Bubble hits there, and meanwhile Kale fights a bit around there. Ignite out as well, so not really much that the Zoe still has in hand, and that was her own Ignite, by the way. Teemo went topside. Yes, Lux and I figured that out at this point, which is kind of funny, to be honest. We were so focused on holding up and seeing what the Zed is doing this game that we didn't really realize that early tower shot there. Nocturne finds Diana doing the grubs right now, goes on top of her. Meanwhile, Zoe's in a bad situation as well, gets a trouble bubble in there, does bite the dust versus the Zed, and Nocturne claims the kill. Kale coming around here right now, trying to stop the Nocturne from taking advantage of this one. Nocturne pulls out his ult, gets the fear, but there is as well the ult of Kale. She picks it up. Zed comes in from the side, claims that one as well. Very unfortunate here, and the Zoe is very passive aggressive this game, but I'm going to be honest about that one. She took quite a beating in the chat most of the time. Gonna be completely honest about that one. Quite a beating there. Trying to find some ways out of this one. Jinx looking to bring herself into position. There is the bullet time. Just pull us away from the plate. That is almost taken there. That's a very unfortunate situation, to be honest. Meanwhile, Zahen is now there. Gets a pull onto the kill. Takes tower shots. The one thing I would say about that one. Why Kale didn't auto attack there. Yeah. Trouble Bubble comes out of there. Teemo unfortunately flashes into that one. Gets slept up there. Bit of damage, and Kale picks up the kill. So Kale picks one of two potential kills there. Let's be honest about that one, because the other one should have been the kill on the Zahen. I don't know why Zahen didn't get one auto attack off. Kale didn't hit him once, but it is what it is. Zed is already right now 27 CS ahead of our Zoe, and if we look at the gold in general, almost double. Not too shabby for the Zeddy boy. Got 5 kills, 1 death. Zoe has 3 deaths, 2 kills. Zed goes in, he wants another one. Death mark is up. She does survive that for a moment, comes back in and bites the dust. Good question why she came back in, but yeah, not really wise. However, we'll see what happens now. Zed looking for some pressure here. Oh, Diana uses Proto Belt, but didn't really get on top of that. Teemo bullying the Kale. That's a bit of an awkward one. Nocturne ults on top of the Diana, who was chasing a bit too far, gets feared up there and taken out. And Zoe pinging other people being dead. That's quite ironic, to be honest. It is what it is. Voltic Cyclo Sword on the Zed already. Zahen once again disconnected, so I think that's the last time we see Zahen in this game. Nocturne coming in from the side, getting on top of me, the Jinx. We get a good binding, a good zap zap. Death Rocket finishes the job. Kale flashes on top of the Teemo and bites the dust. I don't know why she did that, but I think she thought she wins that one. Which is understandable most of the time, to be honest. I've developed quite a good lead. Not enough damage there. The bullet time did clear out the wave, so that's a bit unfortunate once again for us. Teemo putting on the hurt on this Kale. That's what really amazes me, to be honest, in this game. Takes even a plate. Holy smokes. Death mark on me. A lot of damage. I have no way to survive that. Gone. But I can pick up the wild arrows. So something. You know. Zoe just sitting around there. Don't know what she's really trying to do. She's trying to push in the wave a bit there, but Zed is off the map completely. I don't know if she really wanted to then try to force something as the Zoe. At least I wouldn't do that. I mean, I did kind of do that. Zed gets on top of the Zoe. Zoe takes quite a bit of damage. Drowsy. They get on top of the Zed, pull him back in there. He is dropping low, and Diana claims the kill. So, I mean, they did take advantage of the Zed, so that's something about that one. Teemo once again. Commandeer going up top. Already pulled out the Malignant, so he's going to be a mess to handle. Misfortune there as well. That's a flash over the Diana. Diana gets the gap closer once again. Gets on top of the Misfortune. The smite there, and my Death Rocket finishes the job. And that opens up if another Drake for us. That is the second Drake on the job for us. Lux meanwhile claims one plate off that one. Loot's Companion for the Zoe. How big is the lead now? Yeah, a bit more than 2,000, 2,100 about. Is doable. That's why the lead is only 200 for the red team right now. Which is kind of sad. Oh, actually 2 to 400. I would say about 300 probably. It's a very small lead, to be honest, and that kind of makes it really, really sad. Okay, we see how this goes around. Zed did ping that he's going to come in from the side. Lux is pretty far forward here. And the Chomper in there. Zed tries to go for something. Ult comes out of there as well. Zed brings the death mark, and Lux bites the dust. 8 to 2 for this Zed. And Malignant's on the Lux now. So something. Nashor's Tooth is probably almost done for the Kayle as well. Should be almost done for the Kayle, I would say. However, still has to be careful because, well, weirdly enough, the Teemo's ahead. It's very awkward. That's very awkward. The Teemo's ahead of the in the items that he has right now. Not in the gold itself, but in the items. Right now ahead. Same. Well, the Zed is ahead in every category. Let's be honest about that one. Very even in the jungle right now. We do have the Blade of the Rune King and the Proto Belt on each side. So yeah, reasonable. Oh, misses the Q there, unfortunately. Zed throws walk away from that one. Gets a bit of damage on top of the Lux. Really not what you want to do here right now. You want to just kind of play it safe because, well, we effectively know that they're missing one player. You should probably try to play this very conservative, play out all the advantages you have, and just go around this one. Misfortune build, Yuma's Ghostblade, would say not the best choice on Misfortune right now. Deathmark comes out onto the Lux. Death Rocket misses, unfortunately, and Lux burns to death thanks to the Ignite. Charge in, takes down the tower from the Rift Herald. Another charge is going to come in there soon. We can't really take advantage of this one that much anymore. We do open up the lane quite a bit, but we shouldn't try to force anything more. Zoe does take a tower shot. If Zed wanted to be greedy, I think he would have probably gotten that. Surrender vote fails there for the blue team, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You know you're one player down. Goes in there, ult from the Nocturne, and Zoe has no chance to survive that one. Does take down the Misfortune thanks to the Ignite, but that's not worth much for our team, to be honest. Zed now has the Ghostblade as well after Kayle's picked up the Nashors too. Back to the Misfortune. Yuma's Ghostblade, lethality is very good on Misfortune. There's no question about that one. But I would still say don't go for the Yumos, especially when you already have the first strike on there. Then you should really go for the Axiom build. So you can get more ults out of there, you can be more dangerous with the ults, can play more around that one. I mean, okay, in this matchup you don't really have a setter for you, really. Well, technically you could have one, but he's not here in this game, let's be honest about that one. Zed goes for the death mark on top of me. I pop the barrier, get the chompers down as well. Tower shots come in there. Rocket takes him out. And that means... okay. Meanwhile, there's the Nocturne who went for the chickens. He could have gone actually into that fight, weirdly enough. He decided rather that the chickens were important. I mean, I have a friend of mine who will always prioritize the chickens, but Nocturne has to pay the price for those chickens. Unfortunately for our team, the kill goes to Zoe, which... yeah, not the best person to get those kills. Lux tries to get around there, finds the minefield. So the supports meet once again, this time in the top lane. Minion do activate that as well, so Lux has taken quite a bit of damage from those shrooms already. A lot of pressure being put on Final Spark on top of the Teemo, and he goes down. So the farm Teemo loses to the support Lux. The farming support Teemo loses to the non-farming support Lux. Very unfortunate there. Zed is roaming up top. Kale's in a bad situation there, and Zed says, no, you don't live here anymore. So that is a dead Kale. That was a dead Kale. As I said, the lead should not be as close as it is when you have one dude who's just AFK. But the issue is really, you can see Zed is 2,500 right now ahead. Zoe is going pretty aggressive once again. Hits the trouble bubble. Could take advantage of them, but Nocturne comes from the side, Zed from behind, and they claim her life, and Misfortune gets to walk away. That is... And the Zoe pings her team, because of course it's her team's fault that she overcharged there. So I was thinking during the game, shouldn't the gold penalty proc, but I don't think it does in this game, because I think the game recognizes that somebody's AFK. Zed comes in from the side, gets on top of us, and Final Spark comes out there, and we claim his life. Ignite one was out of sweat. Nocturne still tries to create some pressure here. Diana's pretty low. We try to get some damage on top of that one, but Teemo comes there as well. Nocturne's still chasing a bit more, but we can't really stay at this point. That's kind of like the problem about that one. Diana gets picked off there. Picks up the Torment. Andrew's Torment. I think I understand why people do it, but I don't really think it's a good item choice, because when you're Diana, you want to kind of burst people and not really just give them slight taps and then burn them down. Final Spark comes out there, kills the Nocturne, but the Drake is still up there. Bit of damage on top of the Misfortune, and overextend there, gets poisoned. Meanwhile, Zoe misses the Q there and does nothing. Tries to walk away. Teemo tries to get some more pressure up there, gets a trouble bubble, and Teemo does die there. So the third kill for Zoe, only now 3 kills and 6 deaths. Almost there, but Zed says, nope, that's not a good number right now, so take the 7th. And the other thing that kind of surprised me in this game was that not really that many people realize that okay, now at this point, kind of, you have to go mixed again, once again. Fortunately, Kale gets jumped there by the Zed, but she gets a good damage there, pulls out her ultimate, flashes on top of him, and takes him out. But what I was going for is, yeah, if Teemo would have just stayed support because Zion would have been there, they would have had a pretty bad damage profile, to be honest. You have only the support AP Teemo. Everything else is AD. If you go into a bit of armor, there you're kind of satisfied with the whole situation. But at the same time, it's kind of like a situation where I would say if we would have gotten that to that point, I think it would have been easier. But with the Zed at the point he is right now, let's be honest about that one. He's now 3,000 something ahead of her. So, yeah. And that's really why the lead is so close. Because Lux is about a bit under 3,000 ahead of the Zion just through the passive goal, which is very, very funny, to be honest. But you can see how much that lead is. And that's another part. You can see the Zoe is like 900 ahead of the Lux. That is so bad. But yeah, basically that was another issue that we really had in this game. Loon's Companion on the Lux, I pick up the Infinity Edge, Lichbane on the Kale, so we had a good reset. That should be actually something we can really take our finger on, put our fingers on and just go ahead with this. But been a few issues in this game where I would say we could have had better chances with that one. Kale goes in there, puts quite a bit of damage on top of the Teemo, but Teemo minimizes the damage with that blind there. Something to keep in mind right now. Be very careful how she positions herself. Gets another blind. is almost half HP already down. That's a bit of a problem. Zed gets on top of me, hits me with the ignite and everything, and I just die. They're looking for some more, trying to get away from that one. Nocturne comes in with the ultimate on top of the Diana, gets the fear. On top there, a lot of damage being put out of there. Can they do anything about that? Nope, Lux can't do anything, and the spell shield takes the shackles as well. Very unfortunate. And that means a lot in this game, honestly, right now. That's kind of our biggest issue here. Teemo takes down the tower and takes Kale as well, because the tower was gone, couldn't take advantage of it. Zed is looking for some more kills here, chasing the Zoe right now, but not really much coming about that one. And our biggest issue right now, as I said, is the Zed. And if you can look at the money right now, you see the Teemo's ahead of the Kale. The Zed is giga ahead. Right now, Nocturne is in good position as well. Honestly, this is kind of a point where I was really thinking. So I didn't really see it at that point, because if you really look at it, it's like, okay. It's really sinister, to be honest, if you look at the situation in this case. During the game, I was like, it's not looking so good for us, but I don't know, really. Because this is kind of the part about this one. This game really showed me what is more devastating, having somebody feeding or having somebody leave the game. Diana gets on top of the Nocturne. Nocturne gets a good answer there, but it has to back off there. Shackle misses there, and Trouble Bubble as well, and my Zap as well. So everything misses there. And Drake will be up in 10 seconds. That will probably be the next deciding point. So he gets a Trouble Bubble, gets the Ignite onto the Misfortune, who burns to her death. Kale tries to get a surprise hit onto the Teemo, gets quite a bit of damage onto the Teemo. That's a bit of a good play about that one. Kale just putting in some more damage there. Just walk into another Shroom, unfortunately, which is the play from the team. Zoe pretty far forward, has to be very careful about this situation. Meanwhile, we're just doing Drake. Okay, gets a good hit onto the Teemo. Teemo pops the barrier, does have the damage there, walks into a Shroom and dies. Zoe gets found by the Zeds and gets on top of her. Death Mark being procced out of there. Not much really can be done. Ignite, and that's a dead Zoe once again. Zed trying to find a way out of this one, really. Trying to escape as much as he can. Gets a good jump there. Shadow Flame now perches on Zoe, and Diana claims Zed's life. That's his 6th death. So if we look at the itemization, we have Nash's Tooth and a Lich Bane on the Kale. We have Leandre's, Morello's, and Malignance already on the Teemo. Nocturne has the X-Blade and the Blade of the Rune King. Diana, meanwhile, has already the Leandries and the Protobelt. Is going for Azonia's next, which is a very, very wise choice. Let's be honest about that one. There is the Nocturnal, gets on top of Lux there, comes in there, quite a bit of damage. Bolt time being poked out of there, and Misfortune stands still enough to die to the final spark and Zap combo there. So 2 down, Baron is up, and you can see us immediately deciding that should be the play right now. Kale is being pressured heavily by this Teemo, and Teemo is playing such a good game, honestly. Tries to get on top of there, gets a good blind on the Kale. Kale gets a shield, thanks to that she survives. Zoe, meanwhile, mid lane, Death Mark, and good night, Irene. Or Zoe in this case. However, that still doesn't help us that much. Zed is still alive, so that makes our plays pretty dangerous, to be honest, because our only advantage right now in this game, I would say, is that the Zed can only kill one person at a time. You can one person at a time, has to go out. Right now, I feel like the Zed should have picked up an Axiom Arc. Let's be honest about that one. Just an Axiom Arc getting on top of us, just murdering everyone. Murdering one, getting the ult back up, murdering another one. But you can really kind of see how this is playing out right now. It's very in the advantage of the blue team right now. Funny enough, they have a gold lead, even with the AFK Zion. That's so sad. But it is what it is. It comes in there, death mark on top of me. I have no chance to survive that one, and I'm gone. Could have probably tried to dodge that shadow. Probably that's one of the parts here. And Zoe is just doing Zoe things. Shrelia's Grudge is now on the Zed as well. He's getting everything he can. That gives ability ace as well, yeah. As I said, probably if I would be the Zed, I would have picked up an Aximar. Zoe pushing up there. I don't know why. Nocturne comes in with the ult. Gets on top. The fear comes out of there. Teemo comes in from the side. Two poison darts. Not even needed. And I just don't know. I'm salty at this point. They do pick up the Nocturne out of this fight, which, I mean, is very reasonable to be honest. He picks up the Maw of the Mortius. And we will now, after their jungler is dead, go for the Baron. In case you're wondering why the Lux is just standing there by the tower, we were communicating, we were talking pretty badly about the Zoe, to be honest, because, well, the Zoe was, yeah, not the greatest. Easy Baron pickup for us. We get out of here. Zed is coming around, trying to pick up any stragglers who position themselves badly. Zhonya's now on the Diana. Really good pickup. Think that Zoe's going to try to pick it up soon as well. Lux should pick it up, and I feel even Kale should pick it up. Everybody should pick it up on my team. Except me, because it doesn't really help me, but I will pick up now Guardian Angel, so I give myself a chance. Surrender vote. Only one of them voted yes on the blue team. That's very interesting. I mean, they're in the lead. No, they're not in the lead anymore. Actually, they lost it now. Zed ults the Lux. She has no chance. Deathmark once again claims a victim. That's the thing about the Zed. He is just banging on and on. Zed is trying to find a way out of this one, which is kind of funny because while he's trying to escape here, he gets pulled in there once again. He jumps out of dodge once again. Nocturne comes in with the ult. Gets on top of the Kale. Tries to fear her out of there. Kale ults there as well. Actually, accidentally, I think ults the Diana instead of herself, which costs her life. And Nocturne falls into my hands. Rabadon's death cap on the Kale now picked up. Should now go for the Zhonya's, definitely. And that will lead to us getting the next Drake because, well, the jungler's dead. Best opportunity to do that, and that would be Soul. And Nocturne left the game. Wow. And this is where it kind of really spirals out of control from. But honestly, respect to the Zed. He was the guy who was holding his whole team in this matchup. That's why we only have 1,000 gold lead. Him having this 4,000 gold lead on there. Zed ults there. The Diana, she's trying to hold on as much as she can. Bit of a late Zhonya's, unfortunately. Bit too late there, and Zed claims his victim. Unfortunately. As I said, Zhonya's great idea. Unfortunately, a bit late with the Zhonya's. Otherwise, that would have been an easy survival chance because she activated after the damage came through. You know that team was there. There are so many shrooms in this play. Kale tries to claim the life, runs into the first shroom, takes quite a bit of damage. Collector now on top of the misfortune as well. And Zed coming in for some more blood. Zed ults me once again. Death Mark on top of there. Kale unfortunately misclicks here, gets the kill, gets the ult on herself. I have to unfortunately pay the price for that. But we did have the communication between each other there as well, and Kale was like, sorry, I accidentally ulted myself. And I was like, yeah, it happens. Would have been nice to live there, but yeah. And there's the accent mark. The item I feel like he should have had from the get-go. Gotta be honest. And if I have the time, I'm gonna go for a slight tangent here. I feel like Riot should have left the timing on the axiom mark, you know? It tells you how much time actually is gone. Being refunded by the axiom mark. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that anymore. It was a fun feature, unfortunately it took it away. Zed is wrapping around behind, looking for a victim here. Gets on top of the Lux. Lux is immediately blown to pieces. Death mark on the Zoe. No chance for her to live. Double kill for the Zeddy boy once again. And this shows how badly this game's going. And you can see me picking up that I'm Flash from the Teemo. He's living very, very dangerous. But you can really see how Zed is holding this thing together. Zonia's now on top of the Zoe as well. So at least she's trying to survive something. But yeah, I've got the Steel Sigil, so I'm going for the Guardian Angel now. Because I want to have a chance to survive. Nash's Tooth on the Diana. So, this is a really frustrating part when you really think about Death Mark on me. Once again, I have no opportunity to survive this one. Oh, I do survive that one, unfortunately. But I position myself badly there. Misfortune flashes in there, hits me with a Q, and then I die. But it's really, I mean, honestly, I would say the Zed would have deserved this win. Whatever happens in this game, the Zed would deserve this win because holy fucking moly, he's at 17,000 gold. He's doing whatever he can just to claim victims here. Teemo wins that fight versus the Kale. It does win it actually, I'm surprised, but she is dying to the shroom there. Oh yeah, but definitely, honestly, really right now, I'm slightly ahead, but the problem for me is I have no safety net right now. That's the biggest part about that one. I know how people would point out you could farm this lane right now, you could farm this lane right now. My biggest issue is this guy lives. This guy lives, and as long as he lives, I'm not getting peace and quiet just to farm anywhere. Because he could pop up and just murder me. I'm going to now try to go for that one because I really feel like I do need the farm. Because Misfortune did catch up to me quite nicely, honestly. But that's a big problem I still have right now. Baron is up, so my team is going to go for that one, which is really a nice thing. Gotta be honest about that one. It's the second Baron of the game. We would have loved to finish a long time ago, but this Zed has just been a thorn in our side, just stopping us from ever getting close to finishing this game off right now. Misfortune with the bullet time on top of that one, final spark as well. Quite a bit of damage. They do claim a kill. Then Zed gets on top of the Diana, gets on top of her. She does claim the kill there. Zed gets on top of everybody, dies there as well. Teemo's holding on as much as he can. I fall to the Zed still, because of course the Zed still kills me. Kale barely survives that one. And now since they have two members who are gone, that should be the chance for us to push in here. Gotta be honest about that. That should have been immediately the ending of this game right now. You can see them with all the bone. Now, thanks to the Baron buff, they're finally collapsing there. But honestly, respect to the Zed. Respect to the Zed. So he takes out the first Nexus turret. We do have the Elder Drake up. We should just claim the Elder Drake. So it's the Trouble Bubble on top of the Misfortune. Gets a bit of a good damage from the Q. Gets the Ignite as well, and that's it. Bit of surprise there, to be honest, but yeah. Zoe just sitting there. I don't know why. Sid gets on top of her. Death mark. Oh, good zone, yes, though. However, that has enough damage. Takes you still out there. No problem whatsoever. Timo trying his best to hold up as much as he can. Fortune is dead right now, so only 2 members are alive. Well, technically 4 members are alive, but 2 playing members. Other one is over to our hand, so we can hopefully finally finish this game. Let's be honest about that one, but finally the lead kind of has ballooned to about 5,000, but it still feels really bad, to be honest. Zed tries his best, sits in the brush, gets on top of the Diana, pulls out the death mark. Diana doesn't even try to Zonia's that one, but gets saved by the Kale ult, and the Elder Drake buff explodes our lovely, lovely carry. The carry of the blue team. Their team are doing what he can right now to do as much damage as he can. All the shrooms get activated. Meanwhile, Misfortune tries to pull out the bullet time. Lux dies to a shroom there. Timo's trying to hold up as much as he can. Meanwhile, there is the Nexus finally exploding. And with that, GG, the red team finish this one out. Over to Saturday night morning, whatever it is called. We're gonna do that on. We're gonna have a stream about around, I think, 2. Yeah, about 2 p.m. or 14 o'clock CET. So yeah, probably around that time. You can either catch my Twitch channel, which will be linked down below, or on my secondary channel, which I will use now to upload the streams for that I do this simul-stream, multi-stream, whatever you want to call it. We'll do it there, and a few of those games will be picked up, or rather all of those games will be picked up and put on the next few times. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye and good night.